Okay, we're going to do the third angle, 3-view orthographic projection of this three-dimensional object that is the same object that we're going to use for the tutorial in Chapter 4. This object, so we'll do this in CAD in a few minutes, but before we try to do this in AutoCAD, before we try to do the three-dimensional orthographic projection in AutoCAD, we should sketch out our views just so we kind of know what we're going to be drawing. It's always a good idea to have a pencil sketch before you start operating in AutoCAD, because if you know what you're going to draw, it's much easier to make it show up the way you would like it to. So the first thing we have to do is identify which view we want to be the front view. And we have to decide whether we're going to do first angle or third angle. In the United States, third angle is by far and away the most common, so we're going to do a third angle projection, which means we're going to do the front view. We're going to create our front view down here in this corner. We're going to put a top view above it, and then a side view, to the right. Now the other thing we have to decide is about what our scale is going to be. And if we look at our drawing, so what I've decided is that this is the front view. So essentially we're going to be creating a front elevation from this direction, a side elevation looking at this object essentially from end on, and then what we call a plan view, which means looking straight down. And there's no perspective on these, so that's part of why they look kind of weird. They are a flat two-dimensional drawing. So the next thing we have to do is decide our scale. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got little grids here. My object is only 5 units long. I think these are millimeters. I think these are millimeters. But I'd have to look at our text to know for sure. And this is just the image. I just copied it out of the text and put it here for reference. So if I make each square be 1, that means I'm going to have a teeny tiny little bitty object. So I don't particularly want to do that. But so here's the other thing I can do. I can look at my smallest item, my smallest dimension here. My smallest dimension is 0.25. So let's just do a quick check and see if I would have enough space if I make each square be 0.25. That would mean my longest dimension in the front would be 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's okay. So my front view would go from here to here. Now let's see if I still have room to put a side view over here. So my side view is going to be, its baseline is going to be 3. So I would need at least 12. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do have enough space. So I'm going to erase my side that I drew up here, because I may need that. And I'll draw it right down here. Okay, it's easiest to create these things in the following order. We're going to always start with the front view and draw in the basic shape. So what I'm doing is I'm going to realize that my object is a total of 5, we're going to call these millimeters, long, from the most back corner to the most front corner. So given the scale that I specified, and I'm going to use a straight edge because I want it to look decent for you, and I said that 1 square is equal to 1/4, or 0.25, so 4 squares is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count that again. I think I missed one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. There's 1. 1, 2, 3. There's 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I couldn't count. Make that the appropriate length of, whoops, 5. Now we'll draw the back height, which is 2.5 times 4 means my thing is going to be 10 squares tall. Count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay. So now, looking at this side on, then my next, so then I'll have a line that comes in and is 1 millimeter deep. These may be inches. These are probably inches. 1 inch deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now my guy is 1 unit thick. And this back piece, so we don't have the dimension from here to here, but that's okay, because we know that this edge comes straight down. To meet that edge. Okay, those are all my outside edges. Now we know that this little cutout is going to create this little guy here, and there's a line goes straight down here if I draw in the hidden line that I can't see. We're going to have to put these edges in, so this edge and that edge, because those will create edges on our front elevation view. But we don't know this height from here to here, nor do we know this height from here to here. We've got an angle. So we're going to come back and get that in a little bit. Right now what we're going to do, so I just created the basis, the basic front elevation view. So right now we're going to create the top view. Now, one thing you do want to be aware of is how your views line up. So the edge of the top view is going to line up with the edge of the front view. And the centers are all going to line up as well. And we'll put those centers on in a minute. If we look straight down on this object, we're going to have sort of this basic rectangle shape, but it's going to be notched out and attached to another rectangle shape that comes all the way forward into here, and then it's going to be angled in and have a straight and then kind of a horseshoe cutout. So let's go ahead and start sketching this. Now we can start with the basic triangle or basic rectangle shape, and then we'll kind of erase out what we don't need. So the first thing we know is that this thing is 12 wide. And that will form the vertical of my plan view. So it's 3 units, which will be 12 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I drew that pretty lightly because I'm going to have to erase part of it. And then this will be the same length as my front view. So one of the things you can do is project this line up lightly as a reference. And this then is my basic rectangle that I'm going to start kind of trimming away pieces of. Some of it I'll keep, some of it I will trim away. Alright. So, what I know I'll keep, this line, this edge here forms a ledge on my top view, and it is 1 unit in from this back edge. So we'll come in 1 unit. It actually lines up with this. And it goes all the way across. So we can draw this one in dark because it's going to stay. And then we're going to come back 1.7 units from the right hand edge. So 1.75 on our scale will be 1.75 times 4, 28, will be 7 squares. So starting at the right hand edge, I'm going to come back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. And I know that that is the straight portion of my object. And I will make that same measurement on the top here. So I'm going to project my point up. And draw in my top edge. Okay. Now if I look, I can get to this right hand corner, this chopped off piece, because it's in 1/4 from the edge. So in order to locate that cutoff, what we're going to do is we're just going to make a dot that's 1 unit up from the corner, and we're going to square that off. We're going to do the same thing here. Just going to connect those 2 points, and that will give me the right angle on my end pieces there. Each end piece is, well, we don't know, but because it doesn't give us this dimension here, but here's what we do know. We know the space between them is 1 inch and that they're centered about the center line. So let's mark in our center lines. Now this thing is 3 inches, so halfway is going to be 1.5. 1.5 on our scale is 6 squares, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This line marks the center line, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sketch in then our center line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, okay. So we'll use a dot, well, long, short, long, short, long, short. Okay, that gives me my center line, and that's important because the space between these is 1/2, or is 1, so it's each of them is 1/2 a unit away. So we can use that center line as a reference for our edges. You can see how the dimensioning of our object plays into the creation of our, I went too far, orthographic. I'm just erasing a mistake here. I always do these in pencil for a reason. Okay, now we also need the horizontal center line, and that's going to be at 2.5 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll go ahead and mark this center line on both the front view and the top view, because they should align. Okay. The reason we needed that is because we've got a circle here in the middle, a half circle, centered at the center point with a diameter of 1, which means a radius of 1/2. So starting here at my center point, we can go out 2 units from that point, and we'll sketch in our circle. And then we will draw our interior edges. Okay, now we just need to get this back bit, and what we know is that this cutout here is 1/4 inch in from the horizontal and 1/2 inches back. So we're going to come right here, and we've got an edge here at 1/4 inch that is a 1/2 inch long, and we've got that same edge up here. And you don't have to use a straight edge. Like I said, I do, but you do not have to for these sketches. It's probably faster if you don't. Okay, and now this upper edge does the same thing. Now this guy comes straight out to the back edge. And we'll connect the two. We're almost done. We just have 2 more edges to put in, and they are this edge and this edge that represent the edges of this flat part on top up here. And they are again centered about our center line, and we should extend our center line anyway. And they are 1/2 inch to either side of our center line. And there is our top view. Okay, now we're going to create the side view down here in this region, but we're going to use a projection method called the miter line method. So I need to move my little reference drawing here. I'm just going to take it off, and I'm going to set it over here to the side. We'll bring it back as we need it. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to project this bottom edge out into this space. And let's talk about where we're going to draw our side view. So our side view is going to be, if we look at our reference space here, so our side view is looking at this thing from this end here. So it's going to be 3 squares long. So if we start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to again sketch in the basic rectangular shape of our side view. Lightly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it's going to be the 2.5 high. So 10. So let's make our side here.